Hi everyone, and thanks for joining our webinar today, which is the second in our series, Making Net Zero. Just a reminder to you that if you missed the first webinar in the series, you can find it on our website, and the slides presented today will be circulated after the webinar. The webinar today will last approximately 30 minutes. So let me start with a quick introduction. My name is Chris Jenkins. I'm one of E.ON's product managers in our industrial and commercial solutions business, responsible for looking after energy management technologies, as well as our digital and visualization tools. On the session with me today, I have Chris, who's one of our strategic account managers, and Stuart, who's our global commercialization manager for digital solutions, but previously was our head of technical project implementation in our E.ON control solutions business. Together, the three of us will be taking you through how to visualize, optimize, and renew your building and energy infrastructure to enable you to act on and evidence your net zero ambitions, promises, and commitments. Today, we're going to address why start on your journey and why now, the importance of the right visualization, where we're also going to look into some of the tools that can help you along your way, how to visualize your data at a granular level, and why this data can be useful for you, starting your emissions reduction journey through optimization and upgrading of key technologies, before finally coming on to some closing remarks about the importance of the right measurement and tracking of savings. So to begin the webinar, I'll hand you over to Chris Calder, who will talk you through why it's important to act now.
Thanks, Chris. So just as a brief introduction, I'm one of the strategic account managers working in the I&C solutions business. My role within that business is to work with our customers to develop long-lasting energy strategies to help achieve their ultimate goals, be that net zero, cost reduction, or customer happiness through better working environments, which has become ever more important throughout the current pandemic. Now, despite many organisations who use large quantities of energy in their daily operations, we still find many who don't know how much they're actually using and where. Yes, they'll have a bill at the end of the month, quarter, or year, but it's that lack of understanding and what underpins that bill which is crucial to successful net zero energy strategy and an action plan to achieve that end game result of net zero. We know that as part of the UK commitment, we're striving for net zero by 2050. Many businesses are escalating that target and pushing forward to reduce, in some cases, to 2025 or 2030. For instance, some recent research by YouGov saw over half of the respondents say that they were committed to net zero by 2030, and some claiming that they had already got there. Whilst this is an admirable target, many businesses just don't know where to start and also are concerned about the economic impact it will have on their business in doing so. So where do we start and why is it important? If you missed our Understanding Net Zero webinar and how to tackle the case of understanding your carbon footprint, we can make that available to you at the end. Where this goes into a little bit more detail on the implications of Scope 1, 2 and 3, today we're going to look at the next stage, which is the importance of visualising the data, your usage of energy, and how that translates into emissions to start your journey in tackling the scopes 1, 2, and very possibly 3. So in short, getting down to starting to achieve your targets and reduce your energy and emissions whilst also improving your business performance. So firstly, having access to accurate data is vital for an organisation to ensure that it's paying the right amount for its energy. The more accurately a business can see what it's using, the more likely it is that you'll be able to save money. Just as important as knowing how much energy is being used and where, it is critical for a business to understand where there might be waste within process or operations, especially when many businesses fall into the category of having to report on Energy Savings Opportunity Scheme, ESOS, and Streamlined Energy and Carbon Reporting, SECR or SECR, as well as normal greenhouse gas reporting. Your business may also fall into the category of submitting documents for EU ETS, shortly to become UK ETS, and CCL, which is your climate change levy. All of these reporting requirements need to be robust and accurate and make sure the energy data is correct, and if not, this could lead to substantial fines and increased avoidable costs. Unavoidable costs One of the other reasons energy data should be collated and optimised is that those who are responsible for buying energy need to understand and interrogate vital information to inform buying strategies and effectively manage that process. Not having a full understanding of this, depending on the size of the business, it could in turn cost hundreds of thousands, if not into the millions of pounds, on faulty purchasing strategies. So heading towards net zero, what kind of data should we be looking at? Well, what do we need to meet our science-based targets, ESOS, SECA, and Scope 1, 2 and 3 commitments? What are the reputational challenges that may be faced by not knowing what data to report and the cost of this might be? And where possibly in the chain that you fit when it comes to reporting or working with other companies. This will ultimately depend on the nature and size of your business. Your business may be in a supply chain that must meet particular carbon emissions or targets in order to work with other companies. You may be a larger company that has shareholder expectations that sit within CSR documents that put a commitment on your environmental impact. For smaller businesses, they may find that just keeping track of monthly spend against budget is the right thing, and any variance from this would be cause for investigation. Cost translation is fairly simple, and having that high level overview will usually suffice. However, for large multi-site users, they may well find that it's important to benchmark against store or site performance, and any deviation away from this benchmark on those sites again provokes an investigation into the energy usage. This becomes more difficult to manage without access to clear data, as simple geography can have significant impacts to the operational efficiencies of those buildings. Even large-scale single-site operations find that visualising performance process is key to maintaining efficiencies across multiple production lines, for example. This could also lead to setting targets such as X amount of kilowatt hours to make a certain product. We often find that energy makes up a large part of the cost to sell, and being able to really understand this allows for either greater margins or reduced cost to the end customer. This is also particularly important to those businesses that are subject to EU ETS and CCL. The nature of your business also plays a key part in what kind of data is important. As for a large single-site producer who focuses on, say, automation, the process will be significantly different to those in retail spaces or leisure facilities that can be largely driven by occupancy or weather. If businesses have access to specific data, changes can be made to the operation of, for example, chillers in cold weather or heating in warm weather. These can be turned up and down to reflect the ambient temperatures, and thus saving costs that would otherwise have been lost. Hospitality and leisure, for example, can also use forward planning data to preheat and cool areas depending on the weather outside, or even occupancy levels, further improving levels of efficiencies and driving down costs without impacting the end customer. And so to that note, I'll now pass you on to Stuart, who will take you through the process that looks in a little bit more detail some of the best practices along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for the insights you've provided on net zero and the importance of correct visualisation and baselining. Just a quick intro into my role within the business. I'm responsible for the enabling and commercialisation of E.ON's B2B digital solutions that have and are being developed for our customers. Today, I'm going to focus on how data can help you on your journey to net zero. The first step on the road to true energy and carbon management in scopes 1 and 2 is the visualisation and the contextualisation of your consumption data from multiple utilities into one user-friendly dashboard. Because I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you really can't begin to manage what you can't see. Once you have that data at your fingertips, it becomes far easier to generate useful insight that drives real commercial value. In preparation for this webinar, I was looking at some notes from last year, and I used a quote which still resonates with what we're talking about today. The most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. It's important to realise that the majority of you will have access to numerous data sets. that will help provide information to drive your energy consumption down, as well as your cost. They're likely to be in many different formats. This could be in your half-hourly energy data, electricity, gas, water, heat. But we shouldn't forget about audit reports such as ESOS, which identify the opportunities for saving. Opportunities will vary and may not be available in all buildings, locations, with a varying return of investment. It's critical to identify these opportunities, which can be done via desktop analysis and initial surveys, which will help you understand the level of opportunity and investment required. Visualisation and contextualising your energy data in an energy management system, such as the E.ON Optimise platform, allows you to understand your data, whether that's looking at your day, nighttime, weekday profiles, but also the setting of alerts, nighttime targets, which allows you to identify waste and manage your costs in a proactive way, so really stopping that sort of energy drift. Adding additional data such as operational hours, outside conditions, and information such as the number of people or the number of units produced in an area can really help you drive further insights and make effective business decisions. This will help you understand associated costs and be able to reduce them. Ability to benchmark sites and how they're performing, of course, and start to use this data and insight to understand at a granular level within your buildings where the opportunities lie to optimise your energy usage and carbon emissions. How are my assets controlled? As it says at the bottom of the slide, no one-size-fits-all approach, but there are opportunities for every building type. When we talk about assets and how are they controlled, we're really talking about our main consuming assets, such as air handling units, boilers, chillers, and lighting systems. And actually, are they connected to a modern digital building management system or a process system? It's really important to understand how these main energy consuming assets are controlled in the buildings, whether that be a commercial building or industrial building. If they are, you can utilise remote energy management services to optimise these assets in an efficient manner, such as ones provided by E.ON. Remote management services, in essence, is where we connect via varying methods to the building management system and steer and manage the assets to ensure they're optimised and run efficiently. This is always done after alignment with customers' team and not done on an ad hoc basis. If the assets are not connected or controlled efficiently, it would certainly be worthwhile investigating what is required to do so. It could be that you have a CHP or a heat pump installed, which is standalone and not fully integrated into the whole ecosystem of the operation of your building, or to the production process, and this could mean that you're not getting the full benefit of the system. E.ON has the ability not only to manage your building remotely, but has the capability to improve your infrastructure at site level. Low-hanging fruit. It definitely exists in all types of buildings and processes, often with smaller capex and good return on investments. Following on from a previous slide, how assets are controlled, did you know that 90% of heating, ventilation and air conditioning, HVAC, are running inefficiently? This is costing organisations in the UK in excess of £500 million a year. The most effective way of improving the efficiency of any HVAC system is by installing and optimising a building management system, BMS. The source of that isn't me, and it's not E.ON, it's the Carbon Trust. Yes, that above statement relates to more of a commercial building space, but this does not mean the same as happening in the industrial area, with items such as power factor correction units switched off, or waste to heat optimisation not fully integrated into the process. However, there's belief that there's maybe not such low-hanging fruit available out there, and most investments will at least a return on investment of sort of 3 years. Energy-saving projects such as LED replacement have been mainly carried out, or they become part of the maintenance regime. Greater saving can be achieved by including smart and lighting controls as part of these upgrades, so should be considered when doing these type of works. However, there are still fantastic energy savings out there, cost savings available in there, which still give solid return on investments given less than 12 months. Upgrading or the optimisation of building management systems and their connected assets, such as chillers, air handling units, can provide significant savings with lower capex or OPEX, or the integration of a new energy sources to the ecosystem of building and process, and not leaving them standalone will deliver quicker ROIs. An example for commercial building, the installation of new CO2 sensors to give additional control to the building, ensure that systems operate when they're required. But they can also be used to enhance where you've maybe installed variable speed drives previously at a fixed speed or only on-off control. So in summary, data will be available to you and is likely to be in many different formats. However, it's the key to start you on the road to success, to drive down costs and on the path to net zero. Visualising data and contextualising this with additional data can provide greater insights to make valuable business decisions. Understand how your assets are controlled, what good looks like, and how they can be managed more efficiently. Good return on investment opportunities are still available, but it depends on where you are on your journey. E.ON is a partner that can help you on this journey. I'll now pass you over to Chris Jenkins, who will talk to you about measurement and verification.
Thanks, Stuart. That was a really useful overview on the kind of projects that are key to increasing visibility and understanding across your estate. I'm now going to spend just a couple of minutes on the importance of measurement and verification of the savings that projects like this can deliver and the different ways in which M&V can be undertaken. So here I will specifically reference some of the key tools that are in our own toolbox for measurement and verification of savings. So first of all, let's lay out just why measurement and verification of savings is so important and shouldn't just be considered as an afterthought, but instead as a fundamental part of the energy and performance project. Establishing a mutually agreed baseline view of the performance of an estate is fundamental to any project. The robustness of this baseline position is key, as it will form the basis for all comparisons to future energy consumption, and evidencing any gains rely on really accurate baselining. From our customers' perspective, the ability for them to monitor the returns they achieve versus what was advertised to them at point of sale is fundamental. Our energy management centre that we use to remotely manage customer sites across the whole of the UK relies on the measurement and verification of the savings they deliver to form the basis of their customer relationships. For us, the ability to demonstrate savings in an open and transparent fashion is key to building client trust. Some of our longest-standing remote building management customers use our M&V reporting to great effect for a number of purposes. Firstly, they use it to monitor supplier performance. So as the trusted energy partner of a large and growing number of business customers in the UK and across Europe, we understand the need to deliver on our projects and evidence our performance back to our customers. So support robust measurement and verification of savings throughout all of our energy projects. We found this information useful to our customers for a number of reasons. Firstly, to help our customers rationalise costs. So typically most energy departments that we deal with will have to evidence the performance of the projects that they invest their money in back to management. So M&V makes this really straightforward activity and requires minimal effort on the customer's side. But it's not all related to evidencing financial benefit. The world around us is placing increasing emphasis on sustainability, carbon, and corporate social responsibility factors. This is a trend that we only see accelerating over the coming years. The measurement and verification of energy performance projects provides an easily transferable way of evidencing the work your organisation is doing to minimise its environmental footprint. All of our M&V reporting includes CO2 savings as standard, so it's really useful for also demonstrating sustainability commitments. An area that's becoming increasingly intrinsically linked to sustainability credentials is the area of legislation and compliance. So the level of visibility and scrutiny on your estate that's required for robust M&V goes a long way to future-proof your estate against changing regulations and more stringent energy reporting. So as the sustainability agenda becomes more prevalent, the grasp we have on our buildings and their impact on the environment is likely to be further pressured. Having the ability to understand your sites at a granular level and really see and utilise your data will never be something that isn't useful to you in the future. So finally, we come on to the last point on this slide, which is really about building credibility and demonstrating experience in delivering effective energy projects. So starting small with quick win projects, or as Stuart termed them, low-hanging fruit, and demonstrating their effectiveness is a great way to build a great mutual working relationship. The ability to demonstrate the savings delivered by simple projects has enabled us to undertake increasingly complex and innovative energy projects with our long-term customers, progressing from LED and BMS work to the installation of CHPs and solar PV on customer estates. It's important to stress here that for many of our customers, it takes time to build internal confidence in energy and sustainability investments. So management really need to see demonstrable returns on investment to allow them to commit to large CapEx projects. A strong track record of effective measurement and verification of savings that these projects deliver is key to building the confidence in these stakeholders and makes these decisions easier in the future. So that really addresses the why to undertake M&V, but now let's briefly look at how. So there are a number of different ways in which M&V can be undertaken, and today I'll just talk you through a couple of these. So firstly, let's examine an EMS-based approach. So some energy management software platforms contain the ability to provide robust measurement and verification of performance projects. So if you look on the left-hand side of the screen here, you have screenshots that are taken from our own in-house developed EMS software, Optimum. So a lot of work's gone into this software and achieving the ISO 50001 certification that allows it to be used for energy management. So these screenshots in particular are taken from the Project Tracker feature. So the Project Tracker is a feature that we've developed specifically for this purpose and provides a great deal of transparency on the processes used to track performance and allows you to track performance at a site-by-site and whole portfolio level. So the multivariate regression model that we apply allows you to take any factors into account, such as heating degree days, cooling degree days, external temperature, business indicators such as occupancy statistics, production stats, and covers for restaurants. So it provides a great low effort and low cost means to achieving effective M&V across your estate. For example, we could consider a manufacturer who set up the project tracking using their production data and the output of their production lines as an input. So this manufacturer could easily use a model like this to understand the impact of their project on energy consumption, even if there was a sudden fall in production, as the model would control for the reduction in the output already. So moving on from an EMS-based approach to the measurement and verification of savings, we can now consider more traditional techniques, such as utilising IP/MVP standards of energy management and measurement and verification of savings. So this is a technique that our Energy Management Centre has traditionally used as they employ a number of IP/MVP qualified professionals who are able to apply a diverse range of methodologies to best suit each project and evidence savings in accordance with international standards for M&V. So we realise for some of our customers, they'll always want the peace of mind that external consultancy and verification of savings can offer. So this approach is preferred by some customers, but often carries a higher cost. Now, we've worked on a number of projects that are externally verified with a number of different consultants. So I'd encourage you to get in contact with your energy services provider, and they will be able to offer recommendations on which consultants to use. But equally, there's a number of trade bodies around there that can also inform your decision on this. So that was a very quick overview of the measurement and verification of savings. But there's a lot of reports out there on the importance of M&V. So if you're considering an energy performance project, be sure to look into this carefully and engage with your supplier to understand how they propose to undertake M&V, because this will have really big impacts on the savings that you report. Hopefully, though, this brief introduction was useful to articulate some of the key benefits of effective M&V projects throughout your estate. So now let's bring together everything that we've discussed today and examine a couple of customer use cases from projects that we've worked on in the past. So this is an example of a supermarket chain that we've been working with on our BMS and control strategy for a number of years. And we've undertaken extensive upgrades and controls across their whole estate, so small stores to superstores. So for this customer sites, in order to connect them up to our energy management centre, we had no need to install additional hardware on the vast majority of their sites, as they all had newly installed BMS. And due to the work that we've been doing with them over a few years. So all we needed to do in order to connect them up to our remote energy management centre was to facilitate the remote connection and then start saving them money. So we now undertake the BMS installations wherever they want to open a new site and ensure connectivity to the energy management centre as business as usual. So the return on investment that customers will see for remote energy management will vary depending on the current levels of building management installed on site. So the initial investment required to make their buildings digitally ready will also be a key determining factor, as well as the equipment they have on site to allow us to generate savings. So typically ROIs vary from most extreme cases where no upgrades are required in 2 months to 48 months where a complete BMS replacement is needed, but most customers fall well within this range. So that's an example of remote energy management and the savings that could be generated for a retail customer. But now let's look at some different solutions and how they can be useful for a manufacturing customer in particular. So as Stuart highlighted in his section of the webinar, Audits are key. The audits undertaken on this manufacturing customers' sites enabled our teams to pick up on oversized, inefficient heating installation, inefficient means of generating process heat that was leading to significant losses, obsolete lighting, and inefficient air handling. So straight away, this gave us a clear understanding of what a potential solution for this customer might look like. We undertook a complete upgrade of the existing building management system, swapped out inefficient, oversized equipment with more suitable plant equipment, utilised waste heat recovery, and optimised the site's lighting and HVAC systems. So E.ON funded the whole project and recoups our investment from the customer savings, but our combined efforts are saving the customer 40% on their energy bills, and we've cut the carbon emissions on site for the customer by 50%. So hopefully these two use cases from very different industries and sectors allows you to see the huge benefits that can be made through undertaking energy performance projects, as well as the power of understanding your sites at a granular level and being able to measure and verify performance across your sites. So now that concludes the content for today's webinar and throughout the webinar. But first, I just wanted to remind you that this is the second webinar in our Making Net Zero series. On screen now is an overview of the rest of the series, so there's 4 more webinars to come. So if you're interested, please register your interest by dropping us an email using the contact details on screen now. Thank you for your time today. We hope you found the session useful. If you have any questions or feedback, could you please email us and we'll get back to you as soon as we're able. Thanks very much.